My God can throw thunderbolts. My God is literally the sun. Ha, that's cute. My God can do everything. Wait a second, is it even possible? The answer is yes. I hope you enjoyed the video, see you next time. Just kidding. If you expected an easy answer like yes or no, then you're probably at the wrong place. It's actually very hard to answer the question whether an almighty being, God, or however you want to call it, would even be possible. The big problem with this question is that there is no universal definition of an almighty being. Different philosophers have come to slightly different definitions over time. But of course we are not going to answer the main question for every single definition. That would take more time than I can make this video long. So in order to still be able to answer the question, I boiled them down to 3 main definitions. Let's take a look at the first one. An almighty being is able to do everything that's possible within the laws of nature. Sounds complicated, doesn't it? Well, it's easier than you might think. By this definition, God doesn't have to fulfill some crazy miracles to count as an almighty being. He only has to be able to do everything that's already possible in our world. So with this definition, the answer is yes, an almighty being would be possible. But as always, there is a catch. You may or may not have noticed that when this being wouldn't be able to defy the laws of nature, it could have never created our universe. Before you now start to rampage in the comment section, hear me out. Let's just assume we could go back in time. Before the Roman Empire, before the ancient Greeks, even before dinosaurs first roamed our Earth. If we go back far enough, we ultimately have to stop at a certain point, the birth moment of our universe. It should be clear that it is very unlikely we could ever go back further than this point, but let's just assume, for the sake of this video, that we could. So, now that we're finally at this point, we have to answer one question: what exactly is here? And I don't mean what kind of objects are here, since there are probably none. No, we only need to know if there was already matter, or in other words, energy. If you go by our first definition, God shouldn't be able to defy the laws of nature. And one of the most popular laws of nature is the law of energy conservation, which goes like this. In a closed system, the total amount of energy stays the same. To put it in the words of my physics teacher, nothing comes out of nothing. If now, before the beginning of our universe, nothing was there, God couldn't have created anything. But if there was matter in our universe, then we have to ask the same question as before. Where did the matter come from? Definitely not from our God. Which leads us to the second definition. An almighty being is able to do everything, even if it breaks the laws of nature, as long as the actions of the being are logically possible. I know what you're thinking right now. That sounds great! This solves all our problems from before. Well, actually, no it doesn't. It is true that the problem from before can be solved with this definition, but we now have an even bigger problem. If we assume that an almighty being falls under this definition, we actually get a paradox. There is also an old version of the paradox, but since it has many flaws, I kind of thought I should create my own one. So here it is. Just imagine the following scenario. Our original God, I'll just call him God 1, creates a second, equally mighty God than himself. Since God 1 can defy the laws of nature, he should be able to do that. Now we have a second God, which I will just call God 2. For some unknown reason, God 1 tries to eliminate God 2. But of course, God 2 doesn't want that, and the powers clash together. Take a moment and answer this question for yourself. What would happen? If you think this through, there are only 2 possible outcomes. Either the powers negate each other and God 2 stays existing, but now both gods wouldn't fit our definition anymore. Or God 2 vanishes, but then God 1 actually failed at creating an equally mighty being. So again, God 1 wouldn't be almighty anymore. This is getting intense, and we still have one definition left. By the last definition, an almighty being is able to do everything, even if the actions of the being are not logically possible. Well, not even I can find a problem with this definition. I mean, if I can't make logical conclusions about a god, then it's very hard for me to say anything about him. Surely, this being could exist. But we will probably never know whether an almighty being is watching over us or not. It is still a lot of fun to imagine the possibilities that come with an almighty being, like a god created by a god created by a god. They should really make a movie about it, that would be awesome. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. If you did, feel free to leave a comment, like the video or subscribe. Or you could do all three, which would be really cool. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.